When Anna stepped off the plane, the first thing that hit her wasn't the heat. It was the sound. It was everywhere. Laughter echoing through the small Manila airport. The rhythmic voices of people greeting loved ones. The blend of Tagalog and English bouncing in cheerful chaos. In Warsaw, airports were quiet, almost sacred in their order. But here, it felt like walking into a festival. Anna clutched her small luggage, her heart racing from exhaustion and curiosity. She had flown 14 hours from Poland, chasing something she couldn't quite name. She had been a teacher for 10 years, and lately she felt her life had become predictable. The same gray skies, the same train rides, the same silent neighbors. When her Filipino friend Mia invited her to visit the Philippines, Anna said yes before she could talk herself out of it. Now here she was, jet-lagged, nervous, and already melting in the tropical humidity. "Ma'am, taxi?" A man called out, smiling, pointing at his cab. Anna smiled awkwardly and nodded. "Yes, please. To Makati, I think." As the car pulled out of the airport, she stared out the window, and her eyes widened. Jeepneys painted in wild colors rumbled beside them, their metal sides covered in stickers of Jesus, basketball players, and random English quotes like "God's will garage" and "Never say never." Street vendors waved as they passed, selling everything from mangoes to phone chargers. Kids played barefoot by the road, waving at strangers. It was chaos, but somehow it felt alive. In Poland, people rarely smiled at strangers. Here, everyone did. When she arrived at Mia's apartment, her friend greeted her with a tight hug and the brightest grin Anna had ever seen. "Welcome to the Philippines." "You made it," Mia said, laughing as she handed Anna a cold towel and a glass of water. "You're too kind," Anna said softly, still shy. Mia chuckled. "You'll get used to that here." That night, Mia's family invited Anna to dinner. She expected something formal, but instead, she found herself barefoot on the balcony, eating grilled fish with her hands while neighbors dropped by unannounced. "Anna, you are from Poland?" "Wow, that's far," one of the titas said, her voice full of wonder. "Yes," Anna smiled. "Very far." The woman nodded approvingly and pushed more food toward her. "Eat more. You are too thin. Try the adobo." Anna hesitated, looking at the dark stew, unsure of what it was. But one bite in, her eyes lit up. "It's delicious." The whole table cheered. Someone handed her a glass of calamansi juice, another offered rice, and another shouted, "Selfie, selfie!" In that moment, surrounded by laughter and plates of food, Anna felt something she hadn't felt in a long time: belonging. Later that night, when the laughter quieted and the stars appeared above Manila's skyline, Anna sat by the window. The city buzzed below, cars honking, dogs barking, the smell of grilled corn drifting in. Mia joined her. "So how's your first day?" Anna didn't answer right away. Her eyes shimmered as she looked out the window. "I don't know," she said softly. "It's strange. Everyone is so kind. I feel like they don't even know me, but they treat me like family." "That's just how it is here," Mia said with a gentle smile. "Filipino hospitality, it's real." "Sometimes too real," Anna laughed through her tears. "In Poland, people take months to open up. Here, it took minutes." She paused, holding back a small sob. "I don't know why I'm crying," Mia smiled knowingly. "Because you're home, even if it's not where you were born." The next morning, Anna woke up to the sound of roosters. The sun painted the city in gold, and the smell of freshly cooked rice filled the air. She stepped outside and saw Mia's neighbor, an old woman sweeping the street in front of her house. "Good morning," Anna called. The woman grinned, showing her missing teeth. "Good morning, ma'am, Anna. You want breakfast?" "I have pandesal." Anna chuckled, walking closer. "You know my name?" "Of course." Mia said her foreigner friend arrived. "You come eat." Before she knew it, Anna was sitting on a wooden chair, eating warm bread with coffee that was more sugar than caffeine. The woman's grandchildren played nearby, and one of them handed her a tiny seashell. "For you," the boy said shyly. Anna held it close. Something about that small gesture, that innocent kindness, hit her harder than she expected. In that moment, the tears came again, quietly this time. That morning, she wrote in her travel journal, "They told me the Philippines was beautiful because of its beaches. They were wrong. It's beautiful because of its people." When the first few days turned into weeks, Anna began to realize that vacationing in the Philippines and living in it were two very different things. At first, everything felt like a dream. The colors, the warmth, the food, the constant laughter. But as time went on, the little cultural differences began to reveal themselves like waves brushing the shore. Gentle, but impossible to ignore. A new rhythm of life. In Poland, time had always been something she fought against. The train schedule, the lesson plans, the dark winters that made every minute feel heavy. In Manila, time seemed elastic. "Let's meet at 2 p.m., Mia would say, but Anna quickly learned that 2 p.m. often meant 3:30. At first, it drove her crazy. One humid afternoon, they were supposed to visit a local art museum. Anna sat ready by the door, wearing a hat and holding her bag. 2 o'clock came and went. 3 o'clock followed. When Mia finally appeared, cheerful and unbothered, Anna couldn't hide her frustration. "You're late again," she said sharply. "In my country, people respect time." Mia blinked, then chuckled. "Here, people respect people, not clocks." Anna wanted to argue, but the kindness in Mia's tone stopped her. She realized that no one seemed stressed here. Even the taxi drivers joked when stuck in traffic. Even the vendors smiled after long days under the sun. Maybe time wasn't something to fight against, she thought. Maybe it was something to live with. The struggle to belong. Still, not every day was easy. One afternoon, Anna decided to buy food at a local market by herself. She wanted to practice independence and her few Tagalog phrases. But as she stepped into the maze of stalls, her confidence melted in the heat. Vendors shouted in words she didn't understand. Children weaved between her legs, and the smell of dried fish and sweet bananas filled the air. "Magkano po ito?" she asked shyly, pointing at a basket of mangoes. The vendor smiled, surprised. "Ay, you know Tagalog." "Konti lang po." Anna laughed nervously. "Good, you try. Here, take one free." She tried to pay, but the woman refused, pressing the mango into her hands. "For you, beautiful Polish. Welcome to the Philippines." Anna smiled, touched, but she felt tears prick her eyes again. It wasn't just the generosity. It was how genuine it felt. In Poland, kindness was cautious. Here, it was impulsive, and that was both beautiful and overwhelming. Fiesta fever. Weeks later, Anna found herself in the middle of her first fiesta. The entire barangay neighborhood had turned into one giant celebration. Streamers hung between houses, children chased balloons, and the smell of roasted lechon filled the streets. Loud music blasted from speakers, and strangers danced together as if they had known each other forever. "Is it someone's birthday?" Anna asked, shouting over the noise. Mia laughed. "No, it's just the town fiesta." "But why?" "Why not?" Mia said simply, handing her a plate of pancit and rice. As the night went on, Anna joined the crowd, laughing, dancing awkwardly to songs she didn't know. A group of elderly women pulled her into a dance circle, clapping and cheering. "Go, Anna, go!" they shouted. She spun, her hair flying, her laughter uncontrollable. For once, she didn't feel foreign. She didn't feel lost. She just felt alive. Later, sitting on a bench with Mia, Anna watched fireworks light up the sky. "In Poland, we don't do this," she said softly. "What do you do?" "We complain about the weather," Anna laughed. "We stay home." Mia smiled. "Maybe that's why God made you visit here, to learn how to smile again." Anna looked at the dancing crowd, the glowing faces, the children waving sparklers, and she realized Mia was right. Homesickness. But adaptation wasn't all joy. Around her second month, homesickness hit her like a wave. She missed her mother's cooking, her quiet apartment, even the cold Polish mornings. The constant heat drained her, and she struggled with the language barrier. One night, while walking back from the store, she overheard a group of teens whispering behind her. "Foreigner. She's pretty, but she walks funny. She's rich, for sure." Anna pretended not to hear, but her heart ached. For the first time, she felt othered. At home, she was just Anna. Here, she was the foreigner. When she returned to Mia's house, she sat on the balcony, tears quietly falling. Mia found her and placed a hand on her shoulder. "What's wrong?" "I thought I was blending in," Anna whispered, "but I'll never really belong." Mia sat beside her. "You know what? Even Filipinos sometimes feel that way. In their own country. But belonging doesn't mean being the same. It means being accepted for who you are. Anna looked up, eyes wet. And you really think I'm accepted? Mia smiled. You cried with us. You danced with us. You ate our food with your hands. I think you're one of us now. A lesson in humility. A few days later, a typhoon hit. It wasn't a major one, but to Anna, the howling wind and flooding streets were terrifying. The power went out, the rain hammered the roof, and water began leaking through the windows. She panicked, but Mia and her neighbors were calm. They lit candles, laughed softly, and began cooking instant noodles over a gas stove. Children ran around, giggling, pretending to swim on the flooded floor. Anna couldn't understand it. Why are they not afraid? She whispered. Mia handed her a bowl of soup and smiled. Because storms come and go. We just make sure we don't stop living in between. That night, as thunder rolled across the sky, Anna sat by the candlelight, surrounded by laughter. The fear in her chest eased, replaced by awe. These people had so little, yet they had everything. When the typhoon passed and the streets dried, Anna went outside to help clean up. The air smelled fresh, the sun was back, and the neighbors were already rebuilding, sweeping mud, fixing roofs, sharing leftover food. One little girl pointed at her and said, "Tita Anna helps too." Everyone cheered. For the first time, Anna didn't just feel like part of the community, she was part of it. By the time the rainy season ended, Anna had stopped counting the days since she arrived. What was supposed to be a 3-month cultural exchange had become a chapter of her life that she could no longer measure in time, only in laughter, friendships, and quiet realizations. She had arrived in the Philippines believing she came to teach, but she was slowly learning that she had been the student all along. The aftermath of the storm. In the days after the typhoon, Anna joined the neighborhood cleanup drives. The damage was small compared to what she'd seen on the news, but it still broke her heart to watch families scoop mud from their homes and patch up roofs with recycled tarpaulin. Yet no one complained. The men hummed songs while hammering nails. The women handed out rice and coffee. The children played tag, splashing through the puddles. Anna couldn't understand it. In her mind, disasters were tragedies that demanded silence and mourning. But here, they became reasons to come together. Proof of resilience wrapped in laughter. One morning, as she helped repaint a wall, an elderly man approached her. "You are the Polish teacher, yes?" he asked in careful English. "Yes," Anna replied with a smile. He nodded thoughtfully. "You see, we Filipinos, we laugh because if we cry every time life hits us, we will drown." Anna paused, brush midair. "That's beautiful," he chuckled. "It's true. Even when our roof flies away, we still have our songs. That's why we survive." That night, Anna wrote in her journal, "Filipinos don't just survive storms, they dance through them. They rebuild with smiles, not just strength." Maybe the secret to happiness isn't avoiding pain, but learning to laugh while it rains. From culture shock to culture love. By her 3rd month, Anna no longer jumped when the roosters crowed at 4 a.m. or flinched at the sound of tricycles honking nonstop. She even found comfort in it, a rhythm that reminded her she was part of something alive, something unfiltered. Her Polish friends back home sent her messages. "How can you stand the heat? Do you miss real bread? Don't you get scared of the storms?" She replied with photos of smiling street vendors, children playing barefoot in the rain, and bowls of sinigang she had learned to cook. "Come visit," she wrote once. "You will see what real warmth feels like, and it is not just from the weather." A visit to the mountains. To thank the community for their kindness, Anna joined Mia on a volunteer trip to a mountain village in Benguet. The road was long, winding through fog and cliffs, but the air was cool and clean, a sweet relief from the humidity of the lowlands. There, they taught English to local kids, painted a classroom, and shared meals cooked over open fire. One evening, as the sunset turned the sky orange, Anna sat outside with a group of locals. A grandmother offered her a cup of coffee and said, "You're far from home, anak, child. Do you miss it?" Anna smiled gently. "Sometimes. But here, people treat me like family. That helps." The old woman nodded. "Family is not about blood. It is about who feeds you when you are hungry and laughs with you when you are sad." Anna felt her throat tighten. The woman's wrinkled hands reminded her of her own grandmother in Krakow. That night, while lying under the mosquito net, Anna whispered to herself, "Maybe I didn't lose home. Maybe I just found another one." The goodbye. She didn't want. As her departure date drew near, Anna felt torn. Her flight was booked. Her classes in Poland were waiting. But her heart had already grown roots in Filipino soil. The night before her flight, the community threw her a small farewell dinner. There was lechon, halo halo, karaoke, and laughter that echoed into the night. Mia handed her a small box. Inside was a rosary and a tiny flag of the Philippines. "So you'll remember us," Mia said, smiling but clearly fighting tears. Anna hugged her tightly. "How could I forget? You taught me how to live again." When it was her turn to speak, Anna stood in front of everyone, trembling slightly. "I came here to teach," she said softly. "But you, all of you, taught me something far greater. You taught me kindness that doesn't expect anything in return. You taught me to smile even when it rains. And you showed me what it truly means to have a heart." For a moment, there was silence. Then applause filled the night. Someone shouted, "Mabuhay, Teacher Anna!" Back to Poland. When Anna returned home, the gray winter skies of Krakow felt heavier than ever. The cold bit at her skin, the people hurried past each other on the streets without eye contact, and the silence of her apartment pressed against her chest. She tried to slip back into her old routine, teaching, commuting, eating alone, but everything had changed. During one of her classes, she shared photos from the Philippines, of the fiesta, of the typhoon, of the children she had taught. Her students were fascinated. "Miss, they really smiled after the storm? They didn't get scared? They kept working even without power?" "Yes," she said, her voice trembling. Because for them, happiness is not something you wait for. It's something you choose, every single day. Her students were silent for a moment. Then one of them said, "That's beautiful." Anna smiled. "It is. And it's something I hope we can all learn." The unexpected reunion. A few months later, a package arrived at her doorstep. Inside was a hand-woven pouch, a few dried mangoes, and a note written in broken English. "Teacher Anna, we miss you. The new storm came, but don't worry. We are okay. We fixed the roof again. The kids still talk about you. Come back soon. Your Filipino family." Anna pressed the letter to her chest. Tears fell again, but this time they were different. They weren't from sadness or shock. They were from gratitude. Because even halfway across the world, she could still feel their warmth. A changed heart. Years later, Anna would tell her story in interviews and classrooms. People often asked, "What's the biggest thing you learned from the Philippines?" She always smiled before answering. That strength doesn't always shout. Sometimes it sings karaoke while the rain pours. She would laugh, but then she'd turn serious. "The Philippines changed how I see the world. I used to think happiness came from success, money, order, all the things we chase in Europe. But in that small barangay, surrounded by laughter, I learned it comes from connection, from love, from sharing your last meal with someone who needs it more." Final reflection. One evening, years after returning home, Anna sat by her window as snow fell outside. She made herself a cup of coffee and stared at the little Philippine flag Mia had given her. She whispered softly, "Salamat." Because somewhere in a faraway island, she had found what every human being truly longs for. Not luxury, not fame, not comfort, but belonging. And though she had left the Philippines, she knew a piece of it would always live in her heart.